Hey y'all, you know you in the building. Let me ask y'all a question. Are y'all bored all the time? Are you just sitting around, just like going through your phone, social media, Instagram, Snapchat, just looking at YouTube videos, TikTok all the time? And more than that, are you aware of like what you be spending your time on? I think spending your spent time is like valuable. And I've been watching other like videos, you could call them like self-help, but really it's just like it's about your habits. And what I'm here to tell y'all today is, if y'all bored, make a routine. Now you might be like, oh, Esau, why would you make a routine? Isn't that like kind of opposite of what you're trying to do? What I've been doing this quarantine for a while now, but let me tell y'all what I was doing in like the first half of quarantine. Ever since quarantine, I just like fooling around, like not really doing nothing, just procrastinating on everything. I really didn't have a reason to do anything though. School canceled, we're at home, and they said the quarter don't really count for your grade. So I took that as like, dang, I don't have to show up to nothing. I'm gonna still do what I do, which was kind of true. I still did like, whether it's like programming or making these videos, but for the most part, I was just lying around on my phone, not doing much. I found that very like wasteful of time. I've been looking at, people who become successful at like 20, running their own businesses, all this stuff. I'm wondering, dang, how did they do that? They must be like really do. They must have like this much money. They must have family that help them. It really isn't. That's really not the case. The case is they use their time wisely. Simple as that. Though that sounds simple, a lot of people don't take heed to that. I'm victim to this, so I'm not calling nobody out on this. So after a while, the first step is being aware of like, you're wasting your time, basically. And as hard as that might sound, it's the truth. So what I thought was, dang, my sleep schedule got messed up too, like everybody else I know. My sleep schedule completely messed up. I'm sleeping at 3 a.m., waking up at 12 in the afternoon. And what that does is like, you're really setting yourself up to like really not do nothing for the rest of the day. I know some people might operate under those times, but a lot of people can't. So what you do, you go on your phone. First thing you do when you wake up, go on your phone. I know a lot of y'all can relate to that. I did too. And then it kind of goes into like, oh, you're just sluggish. You don't really want to do nothing. You're not motivated. So what I thought was, dang, I need to like structure my day. I need to start sleeping earlier. I need to start like working out consistently with no gym, like at home, and just like all these things. But I realized first thing, my day is not set up in a way for me to succeed. So what I thought was, you know what? I should make a routine, basically. A strict routine added too. So the first thing I did was write it down. So this is my first list. You see daily schedule. I named it Quarantine Edition. This is my very first schedule. So you see here, I put obvious things like wake up, brush teeth, breakfast, shower, and then I get into like the actual things that I do. I get into like physical things, stretches, and then programming. I have a time where I check my emails, and then I go reading. And then you see all these other things. I list what I'm gonna do and then the times next to it. In my first list, I list like the time frame, 9 to 9:30, but then in my second list, I did it differently. So my second list, it's not really different, but I just moved things from like here and there, and this time I don't have the time frames because now I'm getting into the groove of it, so I just put the start times. And yeah, still with the obvious things, and then, the meat of what I would be doing. Me personally, I wrote it down on paper because it's easier to remember, but you could make a Google Doc. You can list all the times. You can make it your own type of way. So it doesn't have to be how I'm doing it. This is just my preference. You can even find apps that, let you do to-do lists and plan out your whole day. There's a bunch of apps for that. And yeah, I recommend those. Y'all might be asking, when should I start doing this routine? Like, oh dang, my day's kind of busy. Like, I don't think today's a good day, or it's better if I do it like Monday next week. Once you start having those thoughts, do it the next day. If your day is already starting, do it right then and there. Make your list. First thing you do, make the list. Part of my routine is waking up early, 9 a.m., 8 a.m. The reason I'm doing that is, you know, I'm sleeping at 3, right? 3 a.m., push that back to 9 p.m., 6 extra hours of sleep. What that does is gonna shift your whole day. You're gonna be an early bird. And your day's gonna end earlier. But in that time, you're gonna be more productive than ever, I promise you. So wake up early. You go to the next thing you're gonna do. You do on your list, write down the most simple stuff. Things you would probably be like, duh, that's obvious. I wrote down on my thing, brush your teeth 5 minutes later. Go eat or take a shower 30 minutes later. And then I start getting into like the things I want to do, like programming, reading. I read a lot more in this quarantine than I have in the past 4 years of high school. And so yeah, so things like that. And then I get into lunch, and then I start going into like, oh, what I have to do for college. I structure my day out on like things I need to do. I do it like, you know, you want to structure in a way like, you know, it's gonna be easier for you to get up and do these things at that time. At first, when you follow the schedule, you're gonna be like, dang, like, and you're probably gonna blow off a few times. You're gonna feel like, damn, like, I don't really want to do this right now. You know, what really helps is, you know, on your phone, or you could get your laptop. I did it on my phone. I put the alarm, basically all the times you see here, I put the same times in my alarm section, turn them all on. Every time, it's every day too. I'll show y'all on the side right here what my alarm looks like. And basically, I hear alarms my family literally got annoyed at me for hearing alarms the other day. But that's what you gotta do for like the first week or two, so like you don't need the alarms no more. That's just there for you to get used to it. After a while, I don't use my alarms no more. And one of the most important things to put in your routine is free time. You'll see through on my list, I have like 4 or 5 free time spots, an hour, 30 minutes here and there. And the whole point of that I found is it really keeps you, all those times that you feel like, dang, like I really don't want to do this, and you want to just blow it off. Those free times, you know, those are times where you can like, you know, blow some steam off. You could go on YouTube, you could check your apps or whatever. And it really keeps you grounded too. It keeps your routine intact. If you just did all the things like everything in your routine, if you did it with no free time, no like time to relax, none of that, I promise you, you're gonna break a day or two in. So it's important to like spread your free time parts around, but don't give yourself too much free time. The reason it's gonna be so hard in the beginning is because you're breaking old habits. I had this old quote that I read in a book during this quarantine. It said, thoughts turn into actions, actions turn into habits, habits turn into character, and then character turns into livelihood. And that really spoke out to me because, you know, it really does start with your thought, actions, and your habits. Your habits that you do every day, checking your phone, for what really though? You're checking your phone for no reason. You're distracted, and that'll be a whole nother video, like screen time, all that. I'll make that another video. But yeah, when you're breaking bad habits, it's not gonna be easy. There's a saying, 21 days breaks a habit. So once you start breaking those habits, you're gonna start gaining momentum slowly and slowly. You're gonna, you start doing this on time. You don't even need the alarm for this part. You don't need an alarm to work out in the afternoon, or, you know, go take a walk, or, you know, not use your phone all that too often. And soon enough, you're not gonna need alarms. You know in your head like what you have to do. And your routine won't be as strict, like, once it turns 10, I have to go do this. Or once it turns, it's not gonna be like that no more. It's gonna be, your routine's gonna be mixed up, you know, but you know what you have to do within those time frames. That's the whole point. You know what you gotta do. Before, this is what I saw. Before, when I was being lazy, I knew what I had to do but I wasn't motivated. This is good for your mental, physical, emotional. You know, it's just good all around the table. And it's better than what you were doing before. I promise you it's gonna be fun. You know, you're gonna want to keep up with your routine. And by the time you get to where you don't need alarms, if you start feeling like, oh damn, this is like boring now, and you have an urge to like, you know, break it, instead of breaking it, you know what you should do? Change up your routine. Take it down completely, make a new one, or take this out. Make your list, make your routine robust. And if you keep doing that, it's gonna be dynamic. Your life is not gonna be stagnant. You're not gonna have this routine for the rest of your life. That's not what I'm trying to say. That's why I was like, it's not a military style routine where they have to do it every day. This is gonna be dynamic. After a few weeks, and you're like, oh dang, I need to add this in the routine because, you know, something, you know, some event is coming up. Make your routine robust. Mentally, physically, emotionally, I feel way better now than I did before, by a landslide. I promise you. And some of y'all might not feel this, and that's all right. You know, I'm just speaking from my experience. I'm glad I changed it up, and I hope I continue this. You guys I want y'all to actually try this and like be aware at least. First thing you do, be aware of what you're doing every day. All that time you're doing something, it could be something useful. It doesn't have to be career-wise and none of that. It doesn't have to be that. You know, you could be putting it towards your hobby. You could be putting it into like, oh, you want to start drawing, but you don't know how? Well, use this time to do that. Set time aside for all that. But yeah, I hope y'all found this useful. Go check out my other videos. Subscribe down below too. I appreciate that for real. And yeah, Waki out.